United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of prayer. Thank you.
Alderman Wadawa.
Here.
Alderwoman Calderon.
Here.
Alderman Brickner.
Here.
Council President Fire.
Here.
Alderman Damon.
Here.
Mayor Tutai.
Here.
Alderwoman Fliss asked to be excused.
Telephonic meeting, none.
The meeting has been properly posted and noticed.
Public hearings, none. Presentation, none. Citizen comments, none. Consent agenda. Is there any alderperson who would like anything removed?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Recommendations of action from committees, commissions, and boards. Action to be taken from the licensing committee meeting held April 5th, 2023. Don?
Temporary Class B license for Cavalier Athletics.
No, for St. Francis Concerts in the Park.
Yeah. Civic Association.
The application for a temporary Class B retailer license for St. Francis Civic Concerts in the Park. Rick Apple.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Alexandria Gladstone.
And the renewal for the beverage license for Alexandria Gladstone.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
That's all from licensing.
Thank you, Don. Look at that next one underneath. Action to be taken from the Finance Committee meeting.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from the Finance Committee for the purchase of a new ambulance.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation from the Finance Committee to approve the sewer rates for 2023.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And that is it, sir.
Thank you. Action to be taken from the bargaining committee? None. Action to be taken from the Board of Public Works? None. Action to be taken from the Planning Commission? None. Resolutions and ordinances.
An ordinance to repeal and recreate Chapter 413 of the City of St. Francis Code of Ordinances regulating tattooing and body piercing. We need a motion to introduce and adopt.
I'll motion to introduce and adopt.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
An ordinance to repeal and recreate section 262-9, 262-14, 262-15, and 262-24 of the City of St. Francis Code of Ordinances concerning the South Milwaukee St. Francis Health Department.
And Paul, these, all of these together are basically just updating who the governing body of this is, or is there more technical pieces that we should know about?
Right, we do have representatives from our health department here this evening to address specific questions concerning the code changes, but these were recommendations from the, or generated from recommendations by the health department, some respects to reflect changes with respect to the correct designation of the department and others. I think that section also had just some awkward language with regard to the definition of a governing body that was in there for no apparent reason whatsoever. And then also to clarify the appeal provisions with respect to both the denial of a license and the revocation of a license.
I'll make a motion to introduce and adopt the Section 262 revisions.
Second.
Any further discussion? You want to say anything?
I would just add that this came from a recent review from Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. We're an agent for that organization at the state to do licensing and inspections locally. And through that review process, they made the recommendations that we make changes to our ordinances. So this is just cleaning up the ordinances.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
An ordinance to repeal and recreate Chapter 466 of the City of St. Francis Code of Ordinances regulating weights and measures.
I'll motion to introduce and adopt Chapter 446, weights and measures.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on. Discussion items with possible action. None. Appointments to committees, commissions, and boards. Peter May for the Celebrations Committee.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve that recommendation for Peter May.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Correspondence with possible action or referral.
Hang on,
I can read it too.
I got it.
Okay.
I just lost it.
That's Don's job.
Correspondence dated March 29th, 2023 from Detective McManus regarding donation for K-9 Memorial. On June 3rd, I wrote a letter requesting your approval to fundraise for, commission, and dedicate a bronze K-9 monument in front of our Civic Center. On July 14th, 2022, I returned with a tentative plan for raising money for the statue and funding K-9 Bain's medical care. Today, I'm excited to tell you that the K-9 Bain Legacy statue is currently at the Omega Bronze Foundry in Texas being prepped for bronzing. He's louder and crankier than you are, Chief. In less than 10 months, I raised enough donations through the K-9 Bain Hero Fund to pay for the statue. The next project on my list is to ensure dedication of the statue this summer is to purchase a base that is just as beautiful as the statue. I worked with Mike at Wenta Monument, and we picked out a stunning black polished granite base. Mike's family business is providing this base at a cost that other companies were not able to compete with. The base will be a solid block of granite and weigh over 3,000 pounds. The cost of the stone, all engraving and installation, is $11,000. I've already secured the contract with a $2,000 down payment. Mike will work with Kristen, Bain's artist, to install the statue outside of our Civic Center. When I started this small task of honoring canines, I was unfamiliar with the costs associated to build a bronze monument. I anticipated the total project costing about $40,000. I was not that far off. With the rising cost of materials and expected wait times, this project will come in somewhere between $45,000 and $50,000. Last June, the Common Council expressed interest in committing the final $5,000 to the project. At this time, I'm respectfully requesting you to consider the same amount and make it payable to Wanta for the outstanding balance on the granite base. I'm requesting this commitment at this time for a few reasons. Most importantly, it will ensure that the money dedicated by the city will go toward the statue directly. This will also give me an idea of where I need to direct my future fundraising goals to cover all remaining bills associated with the statue, while also ensuring K-9 Bain's medical needs are met. The final few necessary steps are to finalize the engravings for Wanta to put on the granite, work with the electrician on ideas for lighting the statue, and also find a contractor to pour a small concrete slab for the base of the statue. We are anticipating a dedication date at the end of June or the first few weeks in July. The statue with the base will stand over 6 feet tall, as the bronze itself is 10% larger than Bane. Every news media outlet in the greater Milwaukee area has covered Canine Bane in his fight against degenerative myelopathy. Our Facebook posts are reaching about 100,000 people a week. I think he's officially considered an influencer. His last stem cell treatment was donated by the company. I've mailed his merchandise internationally, Australia, Belgium, England, and Canada. At this time, we will have over 20 community businesses, nonprofits, and citizens from around the country on the granite base. We had one donor who lives in Colorado donate for engraving because she grew up in St. Francis. I'm currently working on mailers to St. Francis businesses to make this opportunity for sponsorship available to everyone. I appreciate your continued support and dedication to our police canines. Because of the statue, Canine Bane will always be able to watch over the citizens of St. Francis. I will also always have my best friend with me at work. Who's
So if
crabby?
I'm not sucking up enough, I've not only brought Bane, I brought my other kid.
The
This
baby
is
and the fur
Evie.
baby.
She's 4.5, going on 16. So I appreciate coming before you. I'm sorry it's been a little while since I have been before you. Time's been flying. Work has been busy. What I showed you was that block. That's actually going to be the base. That's the color of the granite. That's just a sample. It's going to be a 3,000-pound solid block of granite coming out of a quarry. I think it's in Georgia. It'll be polished just like that, and it'll be graved on all 4 sides. So we're basically going to be putting it right out here. The base is going to be 3 feet tall, and then the statue another 3 feet plus, because it's 10% larger than how he stands. So she measured everything. I mean, his toes is everything, and then added 10% to everything.
Holly,
So
are they gonna engrave the actual granite with the donors, or are they gonna have on like
I'm going to engrave
placards?
the actual granite. We
Okay.
picked a stone, which is why we went with granite, is because, like, with the blocks out front, it'll hold the engraving pretty much forever. I wanted something that was maintenance-free and easy to, take care of. Went to Monument was great. They're going to help Kristen install. It's probably all going to go in. We'll probably, I'm thinking, hold the dedication on like a Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock. So they'll probably be here all day Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday installing it. We'll cover it up, and then I've had people reach out to me. Hold on, sweetie. I've had people reach out to me that want to make road trips to come in. The gal that's in Colorado, her dad actually was on our common council in like the 60s that donated. So we have some people that plan on traveling. The situation that we're at, and part of the reason I figure we better get this, if you're still, willing to give the $5,000, that way we know it's there, and the check can be paid out directly to the monument company. I've already put a $2,000 down payment down to secure it so you could order the granite. So we have a $9,000 balance. That leaves me with $4,000. It kind of gives me a projection of where I need to be when this goes in as well. The statue itself is paid for. I have enough in the account to write a final check for the statue. So don't worry, you guys aren't going to be on the hook for anything. I just need to know where I'm at. I need to know I have medical bills that need to be paid for, but the statue base needs to come first because that's a company, not myself. So asking tonight if you could contribute that $5,000 like we had talked about. I know a little bit about the funds, but I don't know where that would come from. But I know that was the
Police chief's wages.
there. Well, we could take it out of Bane's pension. How about Bane's pension? So I
He's
brought
like,
him here
"What?"
tonight. I was actually in the chief's office earlier this week with Ben Ann's, a couple tears. He's not doing fantastic. I don't anticipate him being at the dedication. Jason, my fiance, says he's going to live for another year just to spite him, which is possible. I'm not a vet, but he's you see the wrap around his belly. That's just so, I guess he's a 75, 80-year-old man, so he does leak every once in a while. So I didn't want him leaking on our carpet. So that's what the belly band is for. But he is still holding his urine in his bowels, and he's able to go outside. So I'm not really sure what his timeline is. We actually just ordered the front wheels for his wheelchair yesterday, so that'll just help him walk. He can still walk. As you saw, he walked in here. So I'm not sure. It's going to be up to him. The stem cell treatment, both of them were fantastic. They provided excellent relief to his inflammatory issues with his spondylosis and his arthritis. I don't think it did anything to stop the DM, which we weren't necessarily expecting that. But those were donated as well. So as far as the reason I didn't put a number in the letter as far as how much funds I've raised, it's hard to come up with a number because I'm not a nonprofit and that number is so fluid because I buy t-shirts, I pay for stamps, I pay for, if I go to Petco to pick up supplies, I pay for that out of that. So it's an up and down number, but all I can tell you is I have enough that paid the $28,000 for the statue, and I've already put the down payment on the base. So, I mean, we're probably looking at a liquid of $30,000 to $35,000 as far as free and clear funds raised. So the medical bills, I still have about $3,000 outstanding. You see, he's still got his spunk. I still have about $3,000 outstanding, so that's just going to depend on where I come in at the end of the fundraiser. I have another nonprofit that's actually just dedicated some money to his most recent treatments. So we have 3 national nonprofits on board that have donated, canine nonprofits, and a couple businesses already. Some local businesses here in the city, Red Bar, Kingpins, then some Bayview businesses. So I want to go to a couple more businesses. I don't want to litter the whole city with letters because I know we have National Night Out coming up, but there's a couple of businesses that I would like to go to and ask for some funding to see if they wanted to be a part of the monument. If you know any businesses that want to be, reach out, have them let me know. Other than that, I'll take any questions.
I have one comment. The detail on this is
Incredible.
exquisite. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful work.
So my artist lives if you remember, she lives on San Juan Island, Washington. Part of the reason that we didn't hit the May deadline was because she messaged me, and I went back and forth, and I had a long conversation with Bane's therapist. She messaged me, and she said, Holly, I have a show to go to, because this is her living. She's an artist. She said, I have a show to go to for 2 weeks. She goes, and I really hate to push this out the door tomorrow. She said, I'm not ready. I need another week on it. She said, but I can't get to it till March. So we're looking at end of June, early July. And I said, well, I don't think May I was hopeful for. June, July. But I gave her the time because I think that it really made a difference. From behind, it looks just like him. The detail down to the patch that you see on there, she basically took cardboard and like glue and made it so that it could be cast into bronze. The links, she actually traced his collars when she was here, and she made those links out of metal with pliers and metal wire snips. And so it's down in Texas, and it'll be poured into sections. It'll be shipped back up to San Juan to be put together, to be put the patina on it, the polishing. She did have the bronze heart made that would have potentially been his urn for some of his ashes. That's up to him. I do have a bunch of fur and stuff I could send to her to stick in it, but I also think that it goes with our heart remains of St. Francis. You know, I think it's going to go in the statue regardless. So it'll either have a piece of him as he is now, or it's going to be a piece of him when he's across the bridge. So I'm not really sure. So, not crying, which is good. That's because he's here and he's fine. And it's funny, we have good days and we have bad. You would ask me a week ago, I would have said a couple weeks. Last couple of days, he's right back to being stubborn and playing with his toy, and typical. No, won't go there. But, buddy, Bane, hey.
Holly, the amount of work you put into this, it's very clear how much he's meant to you, and
There we go.
we appreciate you bringing him here tonight.
Yeah,
It's always good to
absolutely.
see him.
So you can see he still has his spirit.
Never
in his
seen
eyes.
anybody other than you handle him like Chief just did.
I know. And it's good because Lachlan, my 15-month-old, climbs right over him, and even in his condition, he's still pretty patient. So it's up to him when he tells me it's time. If you get over the ugliness of what this looks like, of what degenerative myelopathy looks like, and if you ever taken care of someone that you love, you get past that, you know that his spirit and his heart is still in it, then he'll stay on earth as long as he wants. So, anybody else. Oh, I should say we've sold, I mean, between the grunt style and the other t-shirts, we probably have about 1,000 t-shirts out there, 1,000 to 1,500, about 500 stuffies. So, I mean, it's been very successful.
Is that a sloth?
Yes. And he's actually, believe it or not, he's had that for about 2 years. It takes a long time for him to go through stuffed animals. So, yeah. But thank you all. It's going to be, I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous
So Mark, do we
when it goes in.
need to vote on it?
Yep.
Yes, you would.
Yep.
And that motion would be?
To
That motion would be?
place it on file, and then if you want to make a donation.
Whether or not they also want to provide the funding.
Make sure that he can hear that.
So the motion would be to receive and place on the correspondence on file, and then you can also make your motion with
To
respect to
recommend
the.
the.
Well, it would be, this would actually be to authorize the payment if that's the council's pleasure.
That's what I am.
And the payment doesn't have to be,
I think he's deferring to you to write that.
it doesn't have to be done now, but I just wanted to.
No, right, okay.
Kind of what he was saying. That's why.
I know
So,
what the-
motion to
Receive and place on file. and
receive
authorize
and
the-
place on file, and then to, make the donation of the $5,000.
Second.
Thank you.
Did Don second?
Don seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Ayes have it. Thank you, Holly.
Bye, Evie.
Bye.
Moving on, unfinished business. TID number 4, ratification of revised offer to purchase of 2900 East Layton Avenue. Mark? Or Paul?
So this is a repeat of a previously authorized offer to purchase. Unfortunately, several days before, going to prepare the closing documents for the last offer to purchase that was authorized, we were advised by family members that the owner had passed away just 2 days before. And so she had executed a document transferring the property on her death to the 3 individuals identified in the current offer to purchase, and they have now signed that. And so now it's the same terms as was originally proposed. We're just looking for ratification of this agreement since it is a separate contract from the original one, even though the terms are the same.
Motion to approve the ratification.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Other business? None. Department heads. Chief Hunter.
Thank you, Mayor. On here. So I met with the with the Police and Fire Commission today. We had to part ways with one of our probationary officers. It was an unfortunate situation, but one that I had to make for the safety of not only himself, but everybody else. So he's now, it looks like he's got interest in some metal work. So that's the direction he's going to take, which I think is probably going to be the better path for him. Again, it's unfortunate. He was very likable, but at the same time, it was one of the hardest things I've had to do as a chief because he was a very nice individual, a good guy, had a great heart, but he just wasn't cut out for this line of work, and I couldn't chance him or anybody else being hurt. With that being said, the Police and Fire Commission also allowed me to move forward with our list, which we still have in place. So we will start our background on our next candidate, and that individual has been an officer for almost 2 years now in another department, and hopefully we can get that individual started shortly. Kayla Culbertson is doing excellent in field training. She should be off of field training in June. We are currently down 4 officers, patrol officers. Out of the 16 patrol officers, we are down 4. Officer Johnny Melcarrick and his wife had their child, so he'll be out for 6 weeks. I have officer second shift shortage due to the officer that we had to part ways with. Kayla's in training until June, and then Officer Dakota Platt is in Drug Recognition Expert School, which is a 5-week school, and that school was already set up, paid for, in a very expensive school, but there's a lot of prerequisites. So when it comes to that school, they have to have over, I think it's 25 OWIs or 50 OWIs per year to get into the school. They have to have they have to write a letter of recommendation. They have to write a thesis, a paper to get in. They have to be recommended by the chief. They have to have other schoolings prior to going through that school. He'll be the first DRE on our department. We have other drug recognition officers who can recognize certain drugs, impaired driving, but the expert is one that can testify in court as to what drug that is. And there's only a few on the South Shore, and they're called upon by other jurisdictions for mutual aid. So Dakota Platt took that upon himself, and it just so happens to be when one officer goes, it seems like they all seem to go. And I could not make that decision not to let somebody go, just because we're going to be short-staffed. So the lieutenant and captain are covering day shift, and we're doing the best we can until we can get people and the bodies back on patrol. As far as the corner of Tesh and Kirkwood, for 14 days, we had officers on every shift, and that was regards to the stop sign I had with Alderman Damon. We did a speed study there, and the average speed was 26 miles per hour. The fastest speed was 30. These were unmarked squad cars. The fastest speed was 30, and the average was 26. So we had speeds of 23 up to 30 on that strip, if that helps you at all. And that was all 3 shifts were doing speed on that strip there. And I spoke also with city administrator, and we can, if need be, put that the speed cone out there to gather further data if need be, if you guys need that for stop signs in the future. I think that's it. With that, I pass.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Poplar?
I'll be real brief. 2 things. We put in place our replacement fire code compliance officer. He started this week, Monday. His name is Kevin Stelzel. He's a career-long retiree from North Shore Fire Department and did a lot of their company inspections. So we have the part-time inspector position. He's taken that and spoke with Pete Trost. Pete retired as a captain and then put in a year of doing the inspections and wanted to permanently retire. So we filled that position. He started, things are going great. And the other thing is, in 2 weeks or just under that, we'll have the National Honor Guard, the Milwaukee Honor Guard Clinic that we're hosting in this building and this property again. So I know that we have a council meeting that Tuesday. We'll make sure that the room is ready for the meeting. Again, we have 90 students coming. The last I heard was between 29 and 30 different states. I don't even know how many entities between police, fire, corrections, and EMS. So we're hosting again for a week-long event. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Chief. Jackie, did you have anything?
I would just introduce Jacqueline Morales, for those of you who haven't met her yet. She's our environmental health specialist for the Environmental Health Consortium. She replaced Marty when he retired this year. And she's been working hard on doing her standardization for the state. We have to have a standard in our program. And she's been doing a lot of inspections and gearing up for every little thing that's coming that we were hoping would have some time, but we have some environmental contaminants that we're learning about, and so she's been pretty busy in that department.
Welcome aboard.
And then for those of you that may have not seen our Facebook post, if you haven't liked our Facebook page, please do. We started April 1st with our sexual health clinic. And so we will have appointments available. And this is National Public Health Week. So if you haven't thanked a public health worker, please do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then you may have heard on the news of the recent spike in drug overdose deaths in Milwaukee County over the weekend. They had 17 overdose deaths, in the area of the south side of Milwaukee. So I think that they'll probably be looking into what was specific with those drugs. You may have heard that they're now, besides lacing drugs with fentanyl, they're also putting xylazine, which is a really strong tranquilizer in the drugs. The medical examiner's office had indicated that last year there were about 10% of the drugs that had xylazine. This year so far, they're looking at more 35% of those drugs. So really a big concern as we're moving forward. You know, we do have Narcan available at our health department. We also have fentanyl test strips, and we provide education. Or if somebody doesn't want the education and they just want the supplies, they can come in and get it. So though that is also information that we put out. So with that, I pass.
Thank you. Young lady, no, I'm not gonna put you in the spot. Ann?
I pass.
Paul?
Just one thing, Mr. Mayor. So in addition to the 2900 that was supposed to close this last week, we were also anticipating closing on the 2820 East Layton property. We ran into a snag with respect to the status of a quitclaim deed for part of the property that the seller has provided. The title company had questions, and we're waiting responses from the seller to that so that we can get the title company to sign off on the unrecorded quitclaim deed. And as soon as we get that taken care of, we should be still ready to close. And with that, I pass.
Thank you. Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. DPW, I don't want to jinx anything, but we've gone 7 weeks with late week, end of the week storms, which has required DPW to typically work on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Looks like this week the storms came earlier, so we aren't expecting DPW to have to be here over the weekend, so everyone should have a great holiday weekend.
You do know this is Wisconsin, right?
Yes, I understand. I understand. We have also gotten out the applications for summer help. So those went to the high schools. So we got the applications out to them. They're aware that we're looking for summer lawn mowing help. We're also working on the contract for the KEI. We had KEI last year. Looks like we've got another company that may be interested in doing that lawn mowing work as well. And we're also behind, the last time we vaccinated the trees for emerald ash borer is 2019. So we're working on getting out a proposal for that as well, so we can get quotes on the cost of re-inoculating all the ash trees. I think there's 653 trees within the city of St. Francis that need to be inoculated. So we're busy with spring activities now, and hopefully we don't have to deal with any further snow events moving forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I don't have anything tonight.
Steve?
I'll pass this evening, sir.
Thank you. Don?
My only question is it hard to start a app on April Fool's Day?
Repeat yourself.
Is it hard to start an app on April Fool's Day? Facebook, whatever, you know.
Oh, Facebook, yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Don. Sarah?
Nothing for me this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Sean?
I'll be very brief. Thank you for introducing Jacqueline. Do you go by Jackie as well? Jacqueline, okay. Well, it's close enough. You kept it real, kept it simple for us. Nice to meet you. On that, I'll pass. Yeah.
Okay.
Being nice.
Welcome aboard, even though we met a couple months ago. And with that, I have nothing.
Mayor, I'll make a
Motion
motion.
adjourned.
Second.
Oh, everyone wants to get out of here. Mayor's report. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Don't forget, bring your
Yes.
binders back on Monday. So you would have to go back and get it if you don't bring them. Got it.
Otherwise, we send you back home.
Bring to your office.
The
Debbie's?
chief will be knocking on your door.
Gabby's?
Yeah. Chief Hunter.
Yeah, you can, wherever. If you want to give it